I am that supreme reality. Aham Brahmasmi. I am not the mortal body. My body alone is mortal. My inner presence is immortal. I am unborn, undying, supreme, the only existence. There is nothing to excel me, compete with me, overpower me, overwhelm me. I alone fill everywhere. Brahmahamasmiti vibhavayantaha bhikshashino dikshu paribhramantaha. Seeking bhiksha for the survival of the body, they travel about, ramble in the whole world. Kaubhinavantaha khalu bhagyavantaha. Those people who wear only a loin cloth to cover the private parts, so that they will not be looking so repulsive if at all to the others, they are the most fortunate people. My dear souls, this is what our culture declares perennially, eternally. Never be seekers of money. Never be seekers of prosperity. Let prosperity come after you. After you. Never seek it. Improve your skill, merit, worth. Select your profession. And let people demand. Everything should be warranted, not sought by begging. Deserve what you are worthy. Hoga kya? This is a higher dimension of life. Kya? Samajh mein aaya? Huh? We won't be able to elevate our understanding to this level? Or all of you will have to become a sannyasin? Shrutinam Sutranam Smriti Nikhila Vedanuvachasam Paramhardam Yuktam Hyahilachidajid Bhinnamapicha Abhinnam Swabhavyad Gunicha Paramam Brahmakamidam Samadishtam Yaistan Abhisatatamide Guruvaran Bhagyodayena Bahujanma Samarjitena Satsangameva labhate Purusho Yadavai Ajnana Hetu Krita Moha Mahamdhakara Nasham Vidhayahi Tato Dayate Vivekaha. Harihi Om. Harihi Om. Chorus recitation. Interlock your fingers, put them on the lap, close your eyes, open the mouth and the heart, join me. Harihi Om. That's Jaya Guru.
First shloka of Vivekachoodamani. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. We'll now chant verse number 54. Hindi में 56. Vastu swarupam sputabodha chakshusha Svenaiva vedyam natu panditena Chandraswarupam nija chakshushaiva ज्ञातव्यमन्यैरवगम्यते किम् अविद्या कामकर्मादि पाशबन्धं विमोचितुम् कः शक्नुयाद्विनात्मानं कल्पकोटिशतैरपि
न योगेन न साङ्ख्येन कर्मणा नो न विद्यया ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन मोक्षसिद्ध्यति नान्यथा. I recite it once, then I tell you so that you can listen to it. Attention is required. न योगेन न साङ्ख्येन
न योगेन न साङ्ख्येन
कर्मणा नो न विद्यया
कर्मणा यो न विद्यया
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
मोक्षसिद्ध्यति नान्यथा
मोक्षसिद्ध्यति नान्यथा
न योगेन न साङ्ख्येन
न योगेन न साङ्ख्येन
कर्मणा नो न विद्यया
कर्मणा यो न विद्यया
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
मोक्षसिद्ध्यति नान्यथा
मोक्षसिद्ध्यति नान्यथा
न
न
योगेन
योगेन
न
न
साङ्ख्येन
साङ्ख्येन
कर्मणा
कर्मणा
नो
नो
न
न
विद्यया
विद्यया
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
आत्म
आत्म
एकत्व
एकत्व
बोधेन
बोधेन
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन
मोक्षः
मोक्षः
सिद्ध्यति
सिद्ध्यति
न
न
अन्यथा.
अन्यथा.
अच्छा लगता है ना? नहीं. न योगेन न सांख्येन कर्मणा नो न विद्यया ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन मोक्षसिद्ध्यति नान्यथा. When I read these words, my imagination flies very, very high and very, very, very much backward. See, we have got the most ancient literature called Vedas. 4 Vedas are there. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. People say that all the 4 Vedas are in full measure are not with us now. Many of them have been lost. And whatever Vyasadeva wrote in the form of edited presentation, that alone is available with us. Many of the Yajurveda portions, they have been lost by the passage of time. Whatever it may be, we have enough material now. I don't know whether you will come with me when I say this. You know, we are all born in this world. Right from the beginning, after birth, we are looking into the extensive world. And after seeing the world, our mind forms impressions of whatever are there in this world. And these impressions start instigating us, guiding us, leading us, motivating us, persuading, compelling, everything. The impressions of the objects. Therefore, we think that our life is to acquire these objects. How much we are able to acquire and procure, this is our interest, our focus. 1 building I must have, then 3 children, at least 3 more buildings. Our evaluation is like this. But our Vedas say, they have experimented life. You know, the world has never changed. The world was then as well as now made up of Panchabhutas. Our human personality also has not changed. Human personality also has not changed. We have the same biological body with all the physiognomical features, then emotional mind, rational intelligence, asserting ego, then we have sleep, dream, wakefulness. Is there any change, you tell me? Huh? So whatever they found at that time is even now the same finding. There is no change at all. You are seeing the world with your five senses. You don't have a sixth organ. The world also has not a sixth element. Only Panchabhutas are there. So where is the change? Life is an interaction between the two. So our people arrived at a finding. Human life will have its crowning glory and fulfillment, not in the hands of objects. What? What? Thoda sochiye na, you are not thinking. So what shall I do to make you think? The crowning glory and fulfillment of human life upon this earth is not in the hands of objects. The objects remain separate and away from us. Our mind is something non-material, supra-material. Whatever motivations we have, they spring from the mind, and the mind is not material. The body comes only in between. An activity is designed by the mind, and the activity is pursued and preserved by the mind. It is terminated and concluded in the mind by the mind. So at any point of time, are you away from the mind? Why? Thoda sochiye na. Are you at any point of time disconnected from the mind? Even the physical action, it is designed, pursued, sustained, concluded by the mind. So mind is the sole fulcrum. In that mind level is what you call contentment, joy, experience, fulfillment, etc. So is our fulfillment at any point of time objective or is it subjective? Boliye na jor se. Subjective. So in order to have the subjective fulfillment in the subjective mind, personally within yourself, why should you need objects? So it is a delusion to run after the objects. So they lived, they inquired, they also dabbled in the so-called religious prayers, religious ceremonies, etc., only to withdraw from everything. Even in the Rig Veda, they have said a Mahavakya, each Veda has got a Mahavakya. Rig Veda has one. The Mahavakya is Prajnanam Brahma. Boliye? Brahma means the supreme reality. What is the supreme reality? That one source, that one substratum, that one terminus of the whole existence. Are my words clear to you? The source of everything, the substratum of everything, the terminus and dissolution of everything. This is called Brahman. Brahman is not a spiritual entity as you think. It is also the supreme reality. If you probe into matter, go into particle, wave and further, you will reach Brahman. So Brahman is not merely a subjective substratum or truth. It is also the objective truth. Prajnanam Brahma. This Brahman is not in the nature of matter, energy or external existence. It is in the nature of knowledge. So knowledge is the supreme reality. Are you hearing? I want all of you to jump. थोड़ा सुनिए ना मैं क्या बोलते हैं. Knowledge is the supreme reality. Prajnanam. And where will you find this knowledge? Can you ever find it anywhere outside your body, anywhere in the world? Is it also traceable in the body? It is the living man will have to go within him, into the mind, into the knowledge source, and again discover it, realize it. So the supreme reality, which is the source of existence, substratum of existence, and the terminus of everything, that is in the nature of knowledge. So knowledge is the ultimate reality. This is the greatest discovery India has made, and that too in the prehistoric times. Suniye achhi tarah. I don't know how many will absorb this teaching and you will be loyal, and you must have the fidelity to be governed by this. Please tell your children. There are resourceful people here, moneyed people here, wealthy people here, intelligent people here. Please tell your children, my dear children, our country has found and declared long back that knowledge is the supreme gain and glory of human life. बोलिए थोड़ा इसका अर्थ क्या है? And then they say, Brahmavid apnodi param. That is our motto. Brahmavid apnodi param. The man who knows Brahman, he attains the supreme. So what should be your ideal? A 5-storied building in Jamshedpur. Boliye? Why have you come here and why are you sitting? Brahmavid apnodi param. The man who wants to attain the supreme glory, if you want to possess the whole universe as the solitary emperor, the path for it is Brahmavid apnodi param. The supreme reality is in the nature of knowledge, and the supreme gain and fulfillment of human life is by knowing the supreme reality. This is the greatness of India. Nothing else. That is why in every generation there have been some people who chuck off this world. Bhartrhari was sitting on the throne. One day he noticed a disloyalty on the part of his queen. He did not think of a second time. You speak of abandoning Sita, and Rama did not do the right thing. Bhartrhari did not speak a word. He left the palace, spent the whole of the rest of his life in the forest. And he wrote 3 centuries of verses, 300 verses. One is called Niti Shatakam, discussing the morals and ethics of life. Beautiful. The next is dealing with romance, Sringara Shatakam, because he was a married man. The third was Vairagya Shatakam, 100 verses on dispassion. It is a monumental contribution to our country and the world. This is what he did. Now you tell me, was the ruling for a short period and sitting on the throne, was it the greater and more substantial part and contribution of his life, or composing these verses? You tell me. Where is the throne he sat on? And where are the people he ruled? Huh? Please give me a videograph. Kuch hai? Suppose he ruled, will I be able to rule, and do you want to rule? Whereas the 3 centuries of verses he has written, they can be possessed, treasured by you, and you will rejoice over it. See, one verse, these are all generally taught in the school classes, some Subhashitams. Prathama vayasi dattam toyamalpam smarantaha shirasi nihita bhara dikela naranam salilam amrutakalpam dadyura ajivanantam nahi kritam upakaram sadhavo vismaranti. Bah. I must have learned it in my school days. You know the joy I get when I recite this, I have not found any parallel anywhere in this world. You may look after me, put me in a rosy bed, cover me with gold ornaments. Kuch nahi. Nothing. What can these things do? Your bed is outside, gold ornament is outside, everything is outside. What is inside me which I can delight in? Suppose I am looking beautiful, you enjoy my beauty, I don't see my beauty. Can I go on with a mirror in front? Then I will fall, trip. What is it that you can rejoice in, you can enjoy, is only your own inner qualities, inner enrichment, inner beautification, inner ornamentation. Prathama vayasi dattam toyamalpam smarantaha. In Kerala we plant coconut trees, particularly in the middle of summer. There will be 3 more months of summer. By the time rains will come. For the 3 months, planting the coconut tree, we give some water. And there is a way of giving water. We take a mud pot, a drum, make a hole in it, and then insert a piece of cloth rolling it in, and we fill it with water. So through that wick of the cloth, little by little that moisture will trickle. That's all. Every day 1 pitcher of water. Like that for 90 days you give. By the time rainy season starts, it will grow. By the next summer, it can withstand itself. Prathama vayasi dattam toyamalpam smarantaha. The water that you have given for 90 days, a small quantity of water, the tree remembers it. And in the 5th or 6th or 7th year onwards, it starts yielding. You gave some muddy water right at the bottom, but it gives you back beautiful nourishing water, nectarine water, carrying on the head. Can you imagine the number of coconuts a tree can bear? So many. Salilam amrutakalpam dadyura ajivanantam. As long as the tree lives, it gives you this water back. And coconut tree is a tree which goes on bearing throughout the year, throughout the decade, throughout its life. It is not a seasonal fruit. Every month minimum 1 bunch will come. So in a coconut tree, minimum there will be 10 or 12 bunches. Minimum. Salilam amrutakalpam dadyura ajivanantam nahi kritam upakaram sadhavo vismaranti. In the same manner, good and noble people will never forget the service or help that has been rendered to them by anybody. This is the example he has written, 1 shloka from Niti Chadaka. Tell me, is it good or wrong? Huh? Please evaluate yourself. You don't have to become a coconut tree physically, but you have to become not one, many trees mentally and intelligentially. In our country you will find the gratefulness to God and the gratefulness to the Guru. These are expressed by people to unimaginable levels. How many temples are built by devotees and kings? Only because they felt there is a gratitude towards God. In the same manner, gratitude towards the Guru. Oh, Baba. They will do anything. They cannot pay back whatever they have received from a Guru. And on that account, what did Shankara do, the young boy? He went in search of Govindapada. Where was Shankara born? He was a lad, a Brahmin lad born in Kerala. His father told him when he asked him something about Brahmajnana, my dear son, I cannot answer your question. As long as I know, there is only one person living in the country now, that is Govindapada. I have heard that he is living in a cottage on the bank of Narmada. Soon after he died. This was the revelation, this was the statement that poor boy remembered. And you know what he did? His widowed mother, he renounced and went. In my life, the one inspiration and insight that I had is, why did the young lad of Shankara leave his widowed mother with nobody to look after her? So there is something greater than even the feelings of bondage that we have, that bond we have with the father, mother, wife, children, anybody. There is something still greater and loftier. Don't think that he was a fool. You cannot charge him with unmindfulness and disregard for the mother. Everything was there. But everything depends upon God. God. Your mind is His handiwork. Your heart is His creation. The emotions that you feel are spun and woven by Him. The entire world is hovering on His sky.